Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Monday edition of The Rundown. I am your host, Craig DeLuz. And as we know, I don't do this program all by myself.
And it's not because you're not capable, Craig. It's just because, you were taught to share as a child. So I'm your co-host, Mike Piwowarski.
Well, it's not just that, Mike. It's also the fact that, I enjoy conversating with you. I mean, we have a good time talking about whatever the heck we're going to talk about.
We do, and I don't know if people realize that, we've been working together, although on different programs for easily the last 4 or 5 years, and we've been each other's travel companions. Does that sound straight enough? That's what I'm worried about.
It sounds straight enough.
Okay. And we've done a lot of programs together, and then this just happened to come together here, 23 episodes ago, I think it was?
Yeah, dude, we're on our 21st or 22nd episode now. It's phenomenal. Anyway, I enjoy doing this because we get together and we talk guns all the time.
Right.
And, we rarely do we get the opportunity to really just talk about other stuff. So when we get a chance to talk about politics, other political issues, I really enjoy it. But at the heart of it all still is the desire to talk about the Second Amendment.
Yeah, listen, that's I guess when you say, listen to the sports reporter who makes it big and reports on other news after that, the Second Amendment's our bread and butter. That's where we start. That's where our expertise is. From there, our conservative views have become, I don't know if in demand, but people have asked what our opinions are on other things, and that's what the rundown is. That's our scope of opinions and based on our knowledge, skills, and abilities outside of the Second Amendment. That's just what you get, folks. The rundown. Exactamundo.
So with that, let's go ahead and get into today's stories. The story that I want to start with is I don't know if it's as much a story as it is an opportunity to, how shall we say, express some frustration. There's an op-ed that is actually making its way around a number of different online websites, and it's referring specifically to Disney. Now, anybody who's been watching or paying any attention to anything that's been going on, especially over the last year, has realized that Disney has really gone like crazy, like woke. Like they are like extra special. Like we are going to now make it so that, who you are, everything is now on board. We're going to make sure that we are as politically correct and we are not going to offend anybody except, straight white males. If you're a straight white male, they don't care if they offend you, but everybody else, hey, we're going to do whatever it is that we can to make sure that that you're not offended. And so this guy wrote an op-ed where he talks about how he spends thousands of dollars every year on Disney, going to Disney and all of that, and how he's rethinking whether or not that should be the case.
Hey, Disney's going to learn. Get woke, go broke.
Mike, first of all, I am impressed at how quickly you grew a beard, and I'm equally as concerned at how quickly you lost your hair. But then again, you always did say it was a wig.
Yeah. Pretty much. Can't have one without the other. So
can't have one without the other. All right. So what did you do with my good friend Mike Piwowarski?
I kicked his butt out.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am honored to have as the first guest, our first guest on the rundown, the great grandson or granddaughter or however you gender identify of Daniel Boone. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Earl Boone.
Thank you for having me on, Craig. I would say it's a privilege and honor, but I've hung out with you guys for many, many hours. So I unfortunately, folks, I knew exactly what I was getting myself into.
Well, we always have a good time here on the rundown. So we are very, very happy to have you here with us.
Glad to be aboard.
Excellent. All right. So Mike, where'd you go, man? Where you at, home?
All right, bring him back in. Here we go.
Bring him back in. Listen, there you go. Okay, so now, just so you guys know, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this real quick. I am going to make sure that when we do the two-shot, that you guys, make sure to get you guys in here. So, anyway.
You guys closer?
There you go. See, bam, there you go. There you go. So now, as you can see, I've moved myself over a little bit. I'm trying to give you guys a little bit of room so you guys get real familiar with each other.
Hey, we're already familiar enough.
Is there smell on this microphone? Is there smell on this microphone?
All right, guys. We're in the middle of a story here, so why don't we just hit that? So
back on topic. This is my wheelhouse. Back on topic, guys. Back on topic.
Back on topic. So let's hear about this. I mean, what do you guys think about this whole new wokeness thing going on over there at Walt Disney?
My personal opinion, you're on the clock. You do what the employer tells you to do. You dress how they tell you to dress. When you're off the clock, yes, you have every right to dress, act, say, be yourself. But when you're on the clock doing a job, you provide that service. And for Disney, that is a service of escaping reality, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, listen, it's true. I worked there many years ago now. I mean, not when Walt was around, but
you're old enough.
Part of the issue was, listen, when you went to Disney World, you could immerse yourself into what they have, and the people there, the employees, they're not called employees, they're called cast members, and they played a role and they played a part. And just simply, it was you had to have not exactly a military style haircut, but you had to have a short haircut. You had to have a conservative haircut. You couldn't have your hair dyed. Women could have piercings in their ears, stud earrings. There was no exposed tattoos. If you were a man, you dressed as a man. If you were a woman, you dressed as a woman. That's what went on. Listen, there was no facial hair, Craig. I didn't have any facial hair back then. For the 1 year after I was coming off active duty and was going through the police academy, I couldn't have any facial hair. And folks, if you've ever seen Burt Reynolds or Thomas Magnum without a mustache, it was that kind of scary. Okay, I mean, it's something that I've had forever. And it's not about you're the individual that works there. You're the cast member. You're the role player. You're trying to let those people experience the magic that they've paid for. Walt Disney's vision of the future.
And
that's not what's going on anymore. Now all of a sudden you can have nose rings and tattoos and pink hair and dress as a boy if you identify as a boy when you're really a girl.
When you're I've done film. I've acted. I mean, I don't know that I've done a whole lot of good film. But I've been in a film too. But one of the things,
it's pretty good.
One of the things you learn as an actor is it's not about you. You're playing a role, right? And when you decide that you want to put you into that role when it doesn't fit or doesn't correlate, then you ruin the experience for the person who's partaking. So as a result, what you're going to wind up happening in some of these cases, you're going to have people like this guy who wrote this piece who are basically going to say, nah, I'm not interested in spending the exorbitant amount of money it takes to be able to go to Walt Disney. Why am I going to go if you guys are just going to ruin it for me?
And that's exactly it. Listen, they're called cast members for a reason. I mean, could you imagine if you went and saw, I don't know, Top Gun and Tom Cruise, dressed as a woman for the whole portion of the show?
Right.
Listen, you may identify as that, but guess what? You're acting while you're here. You're playing a role. Play the role right. You're here to get the money of the tourist. And the tourist doesn't want to see that. That's what this guy's talking about. He's tired of woke. Just, here's my money. I want to have my family a magical experience. So please play the role.
Well, and that's why you're also seeing people are tuning out of the NBA. Some people are tuning out of football, of the NFL. That's why you have, people are tuning out of Major League Baseball. I mean, you have people right and left who are just at a point where, and it's not even that it's communication or values that are being expressed or being put out there that they disagree with or they agree with. A lot of it is just the fact that they don't want it in their fantasy, in their escapism. They don't want you to bring. They didn't come to see you. They came to see an athlete. They came to see a game. They came to see a movie. They came to see cast members in a fantasy park. And y'all decided you want to make it about you. So since it's about you, why don't you pay for it? Because I'm not gonna.
Yeah, I spend my money somewhere else.
That's like what I said when we first, when you brought me on camera, when I said, get woke, go broke, tying into the popular show on Disney's streaming platform of terminating Gina Carano for simply addressing her personal opinions.
Right.
And they had an uproar about it, and their subscriptions dwindled.
Yeah.
They're probably panicking. So now if they expand this to the parks, which I personally feel is their bread and butter, yeah, they're probably going to have a lot less attendees because you go there for the fantasy.
Right.
You go there to be immersed in your childhood memories, to bring your children in to experience the same thing you experienced,
Right.
to pass that down. And then, and I make this sound derogatory, but you do you. You know,
Right.
if you want to, purple hair, nose rings, tattoos. I mean, I can't say anything about tattoos. I have tattoos. But if I go to Disney, I'm not interested in them.
Right.
I'm here to bring my children or my wife or, my family to experience the same things, the cherished memories I have from my childhood.
Yeah, Craig, this is not just the appearance of the individual that works there as the cast member. They removed the song of the South from Big Thunder Mountain because it's a racist song. Splash Mountain. Thank you. The Pirates of the Caribbean, they've changed. The Jungle Cruise, they've changed because they feel that the way it was before is it might be offensive to people. So we're going to change the way Disney's done things since they opened up. But Disney World opened up October 1st, 1971. I'm a former cast member. I know that date because it's drilled in my head.
Well, like I said, they're not concerned about offending some people. Like you guys, they're not concerned about offending you.
Yeah.
But you know what? Hey, even though Disney is getting out of the fantasy business, there are other entities that are getting into the family business, starting with the Federal Bureau of Investigations. So the FBI, now in looking back on the attack that took place on Representative Steve Scalise and other GOP folks, you guys might remember that they were practicing or getting ready for a congressional softball game. A Bernie Sanders supporter decided that he was going to go and attempt to assassinate them. Well, instead of that being labeled as domestic terrorism, the FBI is now saying that, yeah, it was suicide by cop. Now, I remember the time. I don't remember there being any indication that this guy was suicidal or anybody saying anything about this guy being suicidal. What would lead them to believe, to even try to perpetrate such a fallacy?
Ironically, Craig, and just for those that are joining us that have never seen you or I doing other things, Earl and I co-host Arms Room Radio together, and we just this week we're talking about the ineptitude of the FBI, and the FBI is clearly turned into one of the most partisan agencies in the country, and it does not meet the current dialogue for this to be domestic violence, or excuse me, for domestic terrorism, and they have deemed this to be suicide by cop. Although, Earl, do you remember this guy trying to whack himself at all?
No, not at all. I think it's something that they kind of pulled out of thin air to fit the narrative.
There you go. That's it, Greg. This is what we've seen over and over again based on this current administration and based on the media. It's time to fit the narrative.
Well, and it's weird because it's like, at every turn you hear them talking, all of the talk is about quote unquote white nationalist groups or conservative groups, or you hear them talking about all of these being domestic terrorists, but yet we can barely get them to admit that an organization, individuals who have been seen are on tape after tape, or not tape after tape, but on video after video, throwing Molotov cocktails, attempting to burn down buildings, attacking police officers. They're not domestic terrorists. They are dangerous, but they're not considered an organization or domestic terrorist. But yet I honestly cannot think of the last time I've heard about an incident, other than now they point to January 6th, of these quote unquote conservatives, but they always upplay, white conservative organizations as terrorists, and they downplay everybody else, even though we have actual evidence of their terrorist acts.
Well, Craig, those were mostly peaceful protests.
Well, you know what's funny, and this is the interesting thing. So when you look at the stats, they basically said like 92% of the protests were peaceful. Now I don't know exactly how they arrived at those numbers, but what they also found was that of the protests that wound up, there were like over 616 at one point, I think back in October, 616 violent protests. 95% of them started off as BLM protests. So while not every BLM protest, while most BLM protests or may have been peaceful, most of the violent protests arose out of BLM protests.
Yeah.
Blasphemy, Craig. You and your evil statistics.
I know.
Get out of here with your logic and everything.
I know. I'm clearly evil because I'm using statistics and numbers.
Yeah.
What am I? What was I
clearly,
thinking?
that means you're a racist.
Clearly,
Remember, Matt was
I must
racist.
be a racist. I must be a self-hating racist because, well, you know, I am a person of color.
Yeah, well, we're people of color also. Just the color's white. So
Yeah.
you know.
Hey, Crayola
Well,
makes a
depends
crayon
on where,
for it.
because
It's
on
a
your
color.
neck it's a little red.
We are in Florida, okay? I mean, that's all I can
You
say.
are in
here, you know?
Florida. By the way, folks, I need to tell you, this is just an aside. I cannot tell you the first time I visited Florida for the Florida Carry camping event, I got a chance to go there, and we go to a park, and there is this thing there called this big banner saying "Welcome to Cracker Weekend."
Yeah, yeah. That's a big deal down here. That's a big deal here.
I cannot
Yeah,
begin
yeah.
to tell you. See, my parents were very old school from back
Yeah.
east, and we'll just put it this way: in my hood, the word "cracker" is not a positive term for people of the Caucasian persuasion.
Listen, same thing, Craig. Where I'm from, the word cracker is followed by the words ass cracker because it's cracker ass cracker. That's where I'm from. And listen, and I get it. It's and it really, I could really tell you, it has zero to do with race down here. It has everything to do with, and I know Earl always has got better input on this than I do. The way I always understood it, the cracker was these cowboys that rode the trails down here, and when they would crack the whip, because they'd ride the trail back and forth.
Yep.
Well, somebody heard whip and said, "Well, that's racist because whips were used to discipline slaves." No,
Well-
Florida wasn't a state then. It wasn't even in the country then. You know, it was. So I don't know where you came up with that fact. You know, cracker ass cracker meant they used to ride the trail to run the cattle up along the St. Johns River.
That's what you get here on the rundown. You get a history lesson about something that is completely amusing, but now you can actually spout some knowledge about it, so you have a reason to go around and refer to the term cracker.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That is a moniker I wear with pride. 'Cause of the three of us, I am the only one actually born and raised in Florida. I am a true Florida man.
Yeah. Like Earl says, I'm a carpetbagger.
You're a true. So in other words, you're a true cracker.
Yeah. I'm a real Florida cracker. And yeah, Florida, even to this day, Florida is very, very big in the cattle industry. And
I would have never
to
thought
drive
that.
the cattle, they crack the whips, and
Wow.
it sounds like gunfire to scare the cattle. Well, bullets are getting expensive after a while, so
Yeah,
they started, they would crack the whips to drive the cattle to processing or wherever. They're done raising them. It's time to move them along.
So-
And yeah, it's Florida cowboys. People don't think of cowboys when they think of Florida. They think of Texas and out west and Arizona. Florida had some of the first cowboys.
Exactly right. It's just when they do a campfire at the end of the night, they're grilling manatee and gators instead of a steak.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
All right. Well,
Oh yeah, yeah.
back to the show. Right, we're getting back on topic here. So, speaking of just weird things, many of you may or may not have heard. So, in the city of Chicago, they have outright banned, or they haven't banned car chases by police. What they have said is that you have to call the supervisor in order to get permission to engage to chase a suspect in a vehicle. Well, now they're looking at introducing a policy that will require the same exact permission in order to chase a suspect on foot. Mike, come on now. You work a lot with law enforcement. They've got to be looking at this and saying, what the heck?
Yeah, listen. Let me tell you how I'm gonna do a little reenactment here right now of how this happens. Hey, sir, I see you have that counterfeit $20 bill on your hand. Can I talk to you for a second? And oh, wait, headquarters. He's running. Should I stay here or should I follow him? Should I follow him? That's not how it works.
You are not allowed to follow him.
You just go. You just go. You go. You let your other officers know what's going on. It's too quick. It's even quicker than vehicle pursuits. And what's the level? Is this okay? Well, he's about to give him a parking ticket and he ran off. Okay. By the way, you know why people run from parking tickets? Because they got warrants. That's why.
Well, because they have warrants or they're holding something they shouldn't be holding.
Yeah. So if it's a felony and misdemeanor, this is just crap. You know what? I'm tired of the wokeness. Let's let law enforcement do their job.
Well, for example, and the reason why they're doing this is because of the 13-year-old kid, Adam Toledo, who got shot. Mind you, now, he had a gun. He was running. Evidence, or at least they're saying that he got rid of the gun, and when he went to turn around, if you look at the video, and there is video, he looked like it looked like he could have still had the gun in his hand, and so he got shot. My issue with this is, and this is what they've already found there in Chicago, is that once they instituted the policy relating to car chases, they found that people were more likely to run because once you take off, the chances of them catching you is almost nil because you've now got a head start. Now in a vehicle, at least hopefully they've gotten the license plate number or something if the car's not stolen. But what do you do when you're on the street and the guy takes off and you have to get permission before you can go after them? What are the chances that individuals are now just going to, as soon as they see the cops coming, they're just going to run?
Well, here's what the cops do. When the bad guy turns and runs, they grab their radio and they go, headquarters, show me back in service.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I don't got time to wait. By the time I wait 30 seconds, you know what? This guy's 30 seconds. This guy's 300 yards down the road at full speed. They call it the felony lean because you got all that energy and you are trying to get your butt out of there. You're running like what's the Usain Bolt? You're running like Usain Bolt and you're out of there. You're gone. It's pointless at that point. you just all right. Show me on meal break. They might as well.
Well, and once again. It's
good luck.
This fantasy. Once again, it's a fantasy land that they live in. In fact, that should probably be the theme of this whole show. This is about fantasy land, and this idea that if we just let them run, that they'll stop committing crime.
See, I always envisioned Fantasyland somewhere in Texas. I never even thought about it being a Disney World. It's just nice house, black and white coloring. I got a little dog, little cat. Living with your significant other. I don't know why I always pictured Fantasyland in Texas. I don't know why. I'm sorry. That's just
definitely in California. Let me tell you
that. That's just a real observation. I'm sorry.
La La Land is in California, but not Fantasyland.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, but hey, you know what? I mean, the thing is that the way liberals are, we know that they're not just looking to allow us to get robbed on the street, but they also want, it wouldn't be liberalism if the government was not also robbing us. And that is exactly what Joe Biden wants to do as he is looking to institute an increase in the capital gains tax. Now, that increase in capital gains tax would be increasing it to 43.4%. Now, Mike and Earl, that would mean that for New York, it would be 52.2%, and for California, it would be a whopping 56.7%. That's just on your capital gains.
Hold on, I'm saying right now. Let me show you what happens. Earl, give me 52% of everything in your wallet.
No.
That's what's going on, folks. If somebody came to my door and said, I want 52% of everything, or I want 43% of everything you have, I'd shoot them in the face. Okay? That's what you get. That's theft. That's extortion, no matter what you want to call it. That's illegal. We fought an independence over 3%. And now you're telling me that this guy wants to take 43% from me? Yeah, I come on. I got something for you. Look, just as a comparison, under the last administration, your capital gains and your basic income tax was between 17 and 23%. Are you feeling like your vote for Bad Man Orange when you voted for Biden now is might have been a little misplaced. Are you feeling a little better, folks?
Well, especially
right?
especially folks in California, y'all are trying to sell. Wow. You guys are trying to sell your home so that you can move to a state that liberalism hasn't destroyed. Well, guess what? Now you're going to have to pay through the nose. Right? You're going to have to pay up to 57% of the value of that home is now going to go to the government, or I'm sorry, of the capital gain. So if you bought your house in California for your little 1-bedroom condo for $750,000 and you're now selling it for $2 million, well, guess what? That increase, that money you thought you were going to be able to take and buy an extra home with or buy home cash with, no, you ain't getting that. That money's going to the government.
Yeah, straight out of your pocket and straight into Joe's. Where do you think he's going to pay for all this? These infrastructure plans. Where do you think he's going to pay for all of his incredible ideas that he has? Guess where it comes from, folks? It comes from you. The only thing that Joe Biden done is fracking lied to you. Okay.
Well, and it's the thing that's really crazy about it is they act like. They act like they're like when they change tax law, like there isn't going to be a change in behavior. What you're going to have is you're going to have people who have assets, right? Things that they're going to invest. And instead of selling them, they're going to hold on to them. You know, we've seen in study after study and time after time, when taxes were cut, when Kennedy cut taxes, more revenue came in. When Reagan cut taxes, more revenue came in. When Trump cut taxes, more revenue came in. Every single time, because what winds up happening is people no longer hide their money. And when I say hide, I mean they take advantage of the existing tax laws. No, they don't use tax loopholes. They follow the law and they find a way in which to pay, get around having to pay taxes. And that's why I'm like, when people were mad at Trump because they're saying, well, why don't you pay taxes? He's like, well, why only an idiot would pay more in taxes than they have to.
Exactly right. Listen, I don't know if we kind of talked over each other. I want to make sure you understand the difference between a 17 to 23% tax increase and a 43%, 17 to 23% tax rate and a 43% tax rate is because Earl said it.
No mean tweets.
No mean tweets. You got no mean tweets now. So that's it. You don't mind giving up an extra, 20 to 30% of your income right there because you got no mean tweets.
Well, I am the first to say, and this is, what it all comes down to, it was funny when you really think about it. The fact is, Republicans are really about allowing the individual to amass wealth or to grow their wealth, right? To create wealth. Democrats are largely about redistributing wealth from one individual to the government, and then some of that to another individual.
Yeah, you're exactly right. It's exactly right. It's the difference between capitalism and socialist communists.
Exactly.
That's not your business. That's our business.
Exactly. Well, hey guys, we're coming here near the end of the show, and I wanted to get into the parting shot. So you guys know there's been a number of incidents we've been talking about relating to law enforcement and use of force, and so we felt that this particular one would be appropriate to give you guys kind of a sense of, for those of you who think, oh, well, we need to find non-lethal ways in order for law enforcement to deal with people. For example, if they have a knife. So as you can see, this is a cop, and this is what happens when he encounters a knife.
Yeah, knives are no joke.
Yeah, so many people, it's the running joke of don't bring a knife to a gunfight, but within it's often talked about within 21 feet, a knife is more devastating than a firearm.
Oh yeah, it's no joke. And another thing you could see from that image right there, that officer hesitated, waited a moment, and he became the recipient of the blade.
Right. It takes maybe a second and a half to close 21 feet. Yeah. And then once again, even if you have a firearm, there's no guarantee that you're going to hit him in a moving target in those 21 feet. And their attitude is, well, you should just shoot him in the leg or shoot him in the, shoot him in the hand, shoot the knife out of his hand, because that's really easy to do.
Craig, I was a former NRA pistol instructor, and I assisted on several different classes. And at probably I was 6'2", 275 pounds.
Screaming, stealing, sex appeal.
Yeah. Students knew I was going to come at them with a piece of foam rubber in my hand, simulating a knife. We're on an open indoor range. Everybody was safe and secure. Actually, they even had CERT laser training pistols. They didn't have live firearms because I wouldn't do this with live firearms. I'm backing up, talking to them.
You're such a wimp.
Yeah, exactly. I know. You know, I'm telling them that I'm going to come at you, and if I make contact with this piece of rubber, I've simulated, I've stabbed you with it, and I'm backing up, and I've cheated because I'm wanting to show a point. I've already mapped it out, and I knew once I passed this certain crack on the concrete floor, I was 21 feet away. So I'm talking to them, casually backing up, and in my peripheral vision, I realized I was past that crack. I launched at them, and they're standing there listening to me talk with an open, exposed holster, not limited by concealed carry of having to remove the cover. All of them, I put my hands on them, and I'm smacking them in the head with the piece of foam rubber. A few of them did manage to get their hand on their simulated firearm, but I put my hand on top of it, not allowing them to remove it from the holster, and continued to smack them about with a piece of foam rubber.
Yeah.
Every single one of them knew I was going to do it, but my fat butt was able to close the distance before they could do anything about it.
Once again, it doesn't surprise me, and it's the frustrating thing with trying to talk to people who don't deal with these things. It's like, you know, when I talk to somebody about stuff, I go to people who either train or who do it for a living to better understand it, because once again, I can't, even trying to put myself in that situation doesn't help if I don't know what to expect. I don't know what is reasonable and what's unreasonable. And, you know, I thank, you know, those who go into law enforcement every day for what they do and how they put themselves at risk every day in order to enforce our laws. And I just think that to second guess them the way that we do, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying the law enforcement is above or beyond
No.
accountability. They definitely need to be held accountable. I even believe that we need to do more in terms of making sure that they have sufficient enough time and resources to train to make sure that their skills are at a level where they can enforce the law and keep people safe, including themselves.
Exactly. I want to make sure every officer goes home at the end of their shift
Alive.
Alive. Yeah. No, exactly. At the same time, we also want to make sure that the people that they come across have the greatest likelihood of going home alive as well.
100%. Yeah.
Or to jail. Or to jail if that's where they're supposed to go.
There's options.
Right.
Yeah, but it's alive, you know?
Right.
This can work out several different ways.
Yeah, exactly. Well, all right, folks. Hey, that's going to be it for this edition of The Rundown. Earl, it was a pleasure having you on the program. We're going to have to get, I enjoyed hanging out with you when I was there in Florida. We're going to have to find a way. We got to find some shows, man, some things to get out to.
Yes, definitely.
All right. So, folks, remember, like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe.
Like, share, subscribe. It's been an honor to have Earl sitting here next to me. We'll have him back again. You know, I mean, he might be co-hosted. He might be hosted one day. We'll see how this works out. This is, you know, we want to bring you the most advantageous, expressions of opinion from around the country. So this is it. Craig, we'll get some from you folks. If you know somebody you want to see, then you're in our group, give us a shout. We'll take a look. We'll see if we can't get them on here to help co-host.
We'll replace him quickly.
You get him out of here. Get this guy out of here. Get this guy out of here. Get this guy out of here. Like, share, subscribe.
Like, share, subscribe.
Like, share, subscribe. Share, subscribe,
All right.
like. Yeah.
See you guys later.
Have a good one, Craig.